Alright, boys and girls, before we get started, I want to make sure that you have Lesson 11 video notes. And on this first part, it says, label each number line with the fraction shown on the tape diagram. Circle the fraction that labels the point on the number line that also names the shaded part of the tape diagram. So if we have this whole rectangle, here is our tape number, here is our tape diagram down here at the bottom, and we'll go ahead and label all these, starting at that first point. So 0/4, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. And now we have to circle the one that also represents this shaded unit. So we're going to circle 1/4. We'll move on to letter B. We'll go ahead and label those as well. We have to first figure out how many units is this split up into. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're splitting this into eighths. So right here it's 0/8, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8, and 8/8. And now we have to go back and look which one we have to circle. We have to circle whichever this represents, and this represents 2/8. So we'll go ahead and circle 2/8. Letter C. We have to figure out how many pieces this is split into. And it is split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we'll label our tape diagram. So 0/12, 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5/12, 6/12, 7/12, 8/12, 9/12, 10/12, 11/12, and 12/12. Now I have to go back and look and see what this represents. And this represents 1, 2, 3/12. So we'll go ahead and we will circle 3/12 for the first page. Okay. Now on our second page, our directions on number 2 say write number sentences using the multiplication to show. The fraction represented in 1A is equivalent to the fraction represented in 1B. So we have to show how those are equivalent using multiplication factors. So if we go back to 1B and 1C, we have to figure out how are these equivalent. Now I can see that when I look at these rectangles, they are the same size, but they're split differently into different pieces. This is split into 1/4 and this is split into 2/8. But look at this. The same amount is shaded in. Well, why would that be? Let me show you. So here's our first fraction for 1A was 1/4. And if we multiply 1 times 2, both the numerators, we will get 2. And if we multiply both denominators, 4 by 2, we will get 2/8, which equals 1/4. So we'll try it again. Now it's saying fraction represented in 1A is equivalent to the fraction represented in 1C. So we'll go back and we'll look to see which ones they're talking about. So I see here's 1A, all of these rectangles are the same, but they're split into different units, different sized units. This one's 1/4 and this one's 3/12. We'll go back here and we'll figure it out. We'll write our multiplication sentence. So our first fraction was 1/4. And our numerators are 1 times 3. And then our denominators is 4, but what can we times by 4 in order to get 12? And to get 12, to make this true, we can multiply 4 by 3 to make 12. There it is. Okay, and number 3, use each shaded tape diagram below as a ruler to draw a number line. Mark each number line with the fractional units shown on the tape diagram and circle the fraction that labels the point on the number line that also names the shaded part of the tape diagram. So we're kind of doing the same thing we did on the first page, but we are drawing the number line now. So I'll draw my number line here. And I'm going to label each part. So this is 0 thirds because this is split into thirds, as you can see. This is 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. And the shaded part represents 2/3. So we'll go ahead and circle that one. On B, I can go ahead and draw my number line and figure out how many this is split into. Here's 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. So we'll start here for 0. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, this is split into 6. So this is 0/6. This is 1/6. This is 2/6. 3/6, 4/6, 5/6, and 6/6. Now we got to ask ourselves, what does this represent? How many shaded parts are there? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that represents, the shaded parts represent 4/6. One last one. This one's split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 0/12, 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5/12, 6/12, 7/12, 8/12, 9/12, 10/12, 11/12, and 12/12. Now we have to ask ourselves, what shaded part does this represent? And I can tell because it lines up just right here. It represents 8/12. So we can count it to check ourselves how many parts are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So 8/12. Now moving on to our last, I think this is our last page of our video notes. For A, we are going to write number sentences using division to show the fraction represented in 3A is equivalent to the fraction in 3B. Equivalent meaning equal. So now we are going to show that it represents the same thing. So our fraction in 1A, or in 4A and 4B, we have to make sure that these are equivalent. We have to represent using a division sentence since these are equivalent. So we have 2/3 and 4/6. So here we are going to first write our first fraction, which was, we'll write the bigger fraction first. We had 4/6, and that was our b fraction. And our other fraction was 2/3. And we'll set it up just how we set up the multiplication sentence. So 4 divided by what equals 2? I think to myself, 4 divided by 2 equals 2. And then we take our 6 down here. So write our 6 first. And we're dividing that by something to make 3. What do we divide 6 by to get 3? And I tell myself 2. So 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So you could see that these are equivalent. Now we're looking at the fraction represented in 3a and 3c. So in 3a we still have 2/3, and in 3c we have 8/12. So write our bigger fraction first. 8/12. Set it up the same way in 2/3. So yeah, I put the 8 first, and I'm dividing that by something to equal 2. What am I dividing that by? Dividing that by 4. And I write my 12 first down here, and I'm dividing 12 by something to get 3. And I'm dividing 12 by 4. That equals 3. So 2/3. Now number 5, partition a number line from 0 to 1 in fifths. Decompose 2/5 into 4 equal lengths. Okay. So here's our number line. Alright, there's our number line from 0 to 1 into fifths. So I'm splitting this into 5 parts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and then 1, it would be equal to 5/5. Now, letter B. Write a number sentence using multiplication to show what fraction represented on the number line is equivalent to 2/5. So we'll write our 2/5 down right here. We'll set that up the same way. And we'll see what fraction is equivalent by multiplying 2 times 2. That equals 4. And on here we're going to multiply 5 times 2. Again, 2, you're always multiplying. By the same thing. And 5 times 2 equals 10. So 4/10 is equivalent to 2/5. Now we're going to be doing the same thing using division. So here's our 2/5 again. All right, now we're going to take that 4/10, not our 2/5. So write our 4/10 here. We're going backwards now. So 4/10. Then we will write our 4. And we're dividing that by something. And we're trying to equal 2/5. So we can divide 4 divided by 2 equals 2. And then we take our 10. And remember, we always do the same thing. So we're dividing by 2 again, and that equals 5. And that is it.